श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय हो. जय जय श्री राधे श्याम. This is your very own Govind Krishnadas GKD, and today's session, welcome to GKD's talk. And today I have on board a very, I repeat, a very special guest. आज का जो ये लाइव सेशन है ये मेरे दिल के इतना नजदीक है ना. Every Kirtaniya in the world has an idol. Every Kirtaniya in the world looks upon to someone. This Das, Govind Krishna Das, GKD, you guys have been messaging me so many times. Prabhuji, you must have an idol. There should be an inspiration for you who you look up to. मैं आज आपको जिनसे मिलाने जा रहा हूँ, पूरी दुनिया, I repeat, the whole world looks upon him for Kirtan. He is an inspiration to millions out there. Let me give you a hint. You want to guess who I'm talking about? I'm giving you some options, guys. So, one more time. This is what he says. While doing Kirtan, he makes you sing. And when he sings, hearts melt. Can anyone guess who I'm talking about? I want you to guess. Right. Comment, tap those hearts. Second option I'm giving you. He says, louder. Something like that, na? Okay, one tune. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I'm not even singing half of what he sings. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I am pretty sure many of you must have guessed after what I have just sung this tune who this tune belongs to. I am talking about not guess kar diya? Have people guessed? Okay. Let me just give you another option. Okay, we've got answers. Okay, can you just tell me the name? Who has answered? I want to know the name.
Umang Arora.
Umang Arora. All right, you're bang on.
Sakhi Preshth Dividasi.
All right,
Jaya
okay.
Jaya Badra.
Okay, all right, okay. So one more time. Yes, I am talking about none other than His Grace Madhava Naidoo Prabhu. Madhava Prabhu, yes, he is my inspiration and I look upon him for kirtans. The whole world listens when he sings kirtan on his harmonium. Let's all welcome with folded hands. हृदय की गहराइयों से स्वागत करते हैं मेरे प्रेरणा स्रोत. मैं भी उनको देखता हूँ कीर्तन के लिए जब वो हारमोनियम बजाते हैं, जब वो मृदंग बजाते हैं, सैकड़ों दिलों की धड़कन धड़कती हैं. I'm going to be having a live chat, a live talk. We're going to talk to His Grace Madhava Naidoo Prabhu today, and we're going to ask him many questions. We're going to take your questions. We're going to ask him how he came in Krishna consciousness, what makes him go on in Krishna consciousness. If you go and check out his Instagram page, as soon as this live is done, go to his Instagram page. He's called the spiritual gangster. Being the spiritual gangster, yet he is so humble. He's so down to earth. I requested him for a talk. मैंने उनसे निवेदन किया, प्रभु जी प्लीज आप मेरे साथ एक talk करेंगे? He said, sure, why not? Let's do it. So he's extremely humble. I look upon him as my inspiration. Welcome to this wonderful, amazing, talk with His Grace Madhava Naidoo Prabhu. Let's go and have his darshans. Before I go on, please clap and welcome him. Tap those hearts and sing along. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. It's not so easy to get him. Krishna, Krishna. I gotta play some more mridanga beats. Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I've been watching him play mridanga since I was 8 years old. I was in Vrindavan Gurukul, and Madhava Naidoo Prabhu, used to sit down and play mridanga, play harmonium for hours and hours and hours and hours, and he's still doing the same seva. एक ट्यून को 6-7 घंटे गाना, no one can do it. You sing one tune for 6 and 7 hours. You gotta have deep love for Krishna and for the holy name. That's when it becomes possible. Welcome, and let's have darshans of His Grace Madhava Naidoo Prabhu ki jai. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for accepting my request, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. Although I'm not the most qualified person,
Jai.
but I'm so happy to be here with you.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
All right, let's just get this talk started. I am nervous. I am nervous as hell. I'm telling you, it's not so easy to sit with Prabhuji and even ask questions. But yet, I'm doing this as a service, Prabhuji. Please, at the very outset, I am asking for forgiveness for any offenses. All right, so let's start. Okay, let me just bring Balaram close to me for more energy. How many people are watching right now?
900.
900 people are watching us right now. And if you stay till the end, I want to take your questions. Your questions will be more important than mine, all right? But I'm just going to start the talk. My first question to you, Madam Naidoo Prabhu, is, I know that you came in Krishna consciousness when you were like 5 years old?
That's right, 5 years old.
Okay.
I grew up. I was born on an island called Mauritius, beautiful island off the coast of East Africa.
Yeah.
Nice beaches, beautiful sun, nice fruits.
Yeah.
And my parents joined the Hare Krishna movement, ISKCON, when I was 5 years old. And I grew up in the Hare Krishna movement, especially growing up with Balaram, with the Mridanga.
Jai, Jai. Prabhu ji bata rahe hain for all those Hindi audience.
Sure.
Prabhu ji Mauritius se hain, theek hai? So there are a lot of fallacies also. Some people think Madhav Naidoo Prabhu is from Switzerland. He's staying in Switzerland now for the past 21 years, right?
That's right.
But he was born in Mauritius and 5 साल की उम्र से प्रभु जी ने कृष्ण भक्ति को अपना लिया था. 5 साल की उम्र से माधव नायडू प्रभु जी मृदंग बजाने लग गए थे. All right, Prabhu ji. So what I'm curious to know and what people want to know is, what is that? We know that you were born into a devotional family, right? Even I'm born in a devotional family. My father is the president of ISKCON Kurukshetra, His Grace Sakshi Gopal Das Prabhu. But yet, my question is, sometimes we see those kids that are born in, devotional family, they tend to get diverted. And that's what I also want you to please, share your experience. बहुत सारे बच्चे जो भक्ति में आगे बढ़ते हैं ना, जो उनके माता पिता भक्त होते हैं, तो वो they get, they take bhakti for granted. Oh, I already have this in my life and I know how it works out. So what kept you, going forward in bhakti? Something that you saw in your father or in your mother or your spiritual master? Or everyone has an inspiration. Who was your inspiration in your childhood?
Well, my inspiration, definitely my parents guided me, since I was a kid. They brought me to the temple, almost, every day, going to the temple and being part of Kirtan, especially.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I loved Kirtan and Prasadam.
Okay.
Not so much the philosophy at that time.
True.
But then when I was growing up, what really inspired me were devotees who would lead Kirtans.
Yeah.
At that time, this was like, 35 years ago or something. There were cassettes. There was no MP3s or whatever latest that we have nowadays.
Yeah.
And I was listening to these cassettes to Vyasaki Prabhu,
Wow.
Riksharaj Prabhu.
Yeah.
There was like some a few Kirtaniyas, Kirtan devotees, and I would listen to their singing and take inspiration from that. And I would especially listen to the Mridanga playing, thinking that one day I want to be the best Mridanga player.
Wow. Wow. All right. So, number one, I want all of you to take a note. Prabhuji had keen interest. Prabhuji क्या करते थे? उन्होंने पहले ही सोच लिया था कि मेरे को जिंदगी में आगे जाकर दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा, सबसे बेहतरीन, सबसे अच्छा मृदंगा प्लेयर बनना है. और मेरे को आज भी याद है 1995 I was also in Vrindavan Gurukul. I remember watching Madhava Naidoo Prabhu play mridanga. Nowadays the youth sees you playing harmonium. All right, but they have not seen you play mridanga. I remember those days. जब प्रभुजी मृदंग बजाते थे, and प्रभुजी was Ayendra Prabhu's mridanga player, if I'm not wrong, Prabhuji.
That's right.
Madhav Naidoo Prabhuji was Ayendra Prabhu's personal mridanga player. It was like if Ayendra Prabhu is doing kirtan, Madhava Prabhu has to be in that kirtan playing mridanga. Maybe we will request Prabhuji to play some beats later on. Alright, so take number one. आपको जिंदगी में कुछ करना है, कुछ बनना है. भक्ति में भी you have to have a goal. Right, Prabhuji? So, so every devotee, every youth out there, you have to have a goal. Do you want to be a nice mridanga player? Do you want to be a nice harmonium player? Do you want to be a Kirtaniya? Do you want to be a book distributor? But there has to be a goal. If you do not have a goal, you are dabba goal. In Hindi, we say like it's a dabba goal. It's like a big goal nahi hai, to aap ban gaye dabba goal. Alright, so we have heard it. Madhava Naidoo Prabhu, bachpan se ek mridanga player banna chahte. Done, Prabhuji. Fine. So your father was your inspiration. So, at the age of 18, you came to Vrindavan. Before that, you did your schooling and your college life. How was your college life about? Because as we see, you know, Madhava Naidoo Prabhu का जो style है और जो उनकी look है, उनका जो coolness है, it's so super cool, guys. I mean, sometimes people call me, you're like a spiritual swagger, Govind Prabhu, GKD and all that stuff. They say this to me and they find me so cool. But this is the true coolness. Prabhuji is called the spiritual gangster. Being a gangster doesn't mean like he's a gangster. He follows all the regulated principles. He's very deep. We'll talk about this. His chanting, his inner mood for sadhana is extremely deep. Yet, Prabhuji, right, let's talk about your college life. How was your college life? It was in Mauritius, and was it normal like other kids like us, you know, we go and have fun, or something turned around?
Yes, that's a good question. It's actually a fun question.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, I was growing up. You know, I was supposed to go to. I went to Gurukul in Mauritius for a few months because I was one of the older kids.
Okay. A little bit louder, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I was one of the older kids. So, I went to Gurukul only for a few months, and then I went to like normal school. Mm-hmm. I went to a British school, and it was quite boring what I was studying. I was studying chemistry and physics. And for me, being an artist, being someone, out of the box.
Yeah.
Nice. Kind of a little freaky.
Yeah.
A little freestyling person. So all this stuff was quite boring. But what really was like, pulling my heart was, kirtan. I studied, but then at the same time, it was not really my calling. My calling was something else. I worked really hard to go to the best British boys' school in Mauritius.
Oh.
People work really, really hard to go to this school. It's actually the most prestigious school in Mauritius.
What's the name, Prabhu?
It's called Royal College of Port Louis.
Okay, all right.
And I worked so hard, but when I got there, it was like, what am I doing with my life? Sometimes karma works in different ways.
Yeah.
For me, it was not my karma to become a doctor, or an engineer. It was something else. So at the age of 18, well, just before turning 18, I was sitting down for my exams. If I remember, it was my math papers.
I hate maths. Anyways,
I hated maths too. And
all right.
I sat down for half an hour just looking at the paper. And I thought, maybe I should write something.
Okay.
After half an hour just looking at the paper.
Right.
And then I started writing all kinds of swear words, swearing at the whole system.
Oh yeah, you wrote that down?
I wrote down
on the paper?
On the paper.
Okay.
And I left, I gave it back.
Yeah.
And I knew they were going to kick me out of school.
Right.
This is like the best school in the whole island.
Whoa.
And I knew my parents were going to be really, really mad finding out that I was going to get kicked out of school.
Yeah.
So I told my friend, one devotee friend, who had been to Vrindavan before. I told him, what happened, what I'd done in school, and they were going to kick me out. So I had to find a way to get out of Mauritius.
Oh, it's like the Goswamis trying to find out way to get out from the Mughal emperors. Like Sanatan Goswami or Rupa Goswami trying to run out from the Mughal emperors. This is what I'm trying to complicate. Okay, yeah, right, Prabhuji. Then.
So this friend of mine told me, why don't you go to Vrindavan and you can join the 24-hour kirtan?
Wow. This is in which year?
This was in 1991.
Okay, just a second प्रभु जी. 1991 में माधव प्रभु क्या कर रहे हैं? मॉरिशस में अपना एग्जाम दे रहे हैं कॉलेज में, ठीक है. एग्जाम देते देते वो सोच रहे हैं यार मैं केमिस्ट्री फिजिक्स या डॉक्टर बनने के लिए नहीं बना हूँ. इट्स नॉट इन माई कर्म. आई एम एन आर्टिस्ट, आई एम ए फ्री स्टाइल गाय. मतलब मैं कुछ और चीज़ करने के लिए बना हूँ. तो उन्होंने क्या कर दिया, माधव प्रभु ने पेपर में, मैथ्स का पेपर था, सारी दुनिया को मैथ्स बेकार लगती है. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हेट मैथ्स? प्लीज टेल मी, कमेंट एंड लेट मी नो. ऑलराइट, एनीवेज, सो माधव प्रभु स्टार्टेड राइटिंग ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ स्वेयर वर्ड्स. ठीक है, उन्होंने गालियाँ वालियाँ लिखनी शुरू कर दी कि यार मेरे को कोई तो बहाना चाहिए यहाँ से निकलने का. ठीक है, तो जैसे हमारे षड गोस्वामियों में ना, सनातन गोस्वामी और रूप गोस्वामी, वो भी ना क्या नाम है, मुगल एम्परर्स के जब वो राज कर रहे थे तो उनको उसमें काम करना पड़ता था, तो वो भी बहाने ढूंढते थे निकलने के लिए. फिर क्या हुआ, किसी डिवोटी ने, some devotee told you to come to Vrindavan?
Yes, my friend who had been to Vrindavan before,
Right.
and who spent some time at the 24-hour Kirtan.
ठीक है, 1991, guys, lot of us were not even born in 1991, okay, so all those Kirtaniyas, right, who we're talking about 1991. So प्रभु जी के एक दोस्त ने उनको कहा कि आप वृंदावन क्यों नहीं आ जाते हो, वहाँ पर 24 hours कीर्तन होता है और यहाँ पर आके ज्वाइन कीजिए. राइट, देन प्रभु जी, then what happened?
Then I told my friend to speak to my parents.
Right, yeah, you need permission. Yeah, okay.
And then he spoke to my parents, and my father spoke to me. He said, Vrindavan is just a simple village. There's no shopping malls. There's no enjoyment. There's monkeys. There's pigs everywhere. It's just a village.
यार ये विदेशी लोग जब इस भारत में आते हैं ना, तो इन लोगों को बस ये सुअर, हमारे गैया, हमारे बंदर वंदर ही दिखते हैं. तो ऐसे ही क्या नाम है, प्रभु जी के जो क्या नाम है, your parents were telling you this, who told you that they're going to be?
My father told me.
तो प्रभु जी के पिताजी कह रहे हैं कि यार तू कहाँ जा रहा है इंडिया में, वहाँ पे कोई शॉपिंग मॉल नहीं है, वहाँ पे कोई फन नहीं है. मॉरिशस इज सच अ कूल सिटी गाइस, यू नो, वी सच अ कूल कंट्री. सो वी गो टू इंडिया, वहाँ पर आपको बंदर मिलेंगे, गाय मिलेंगी, आपको सुअर मिलेंगे वगैरह. ऐसे लोगों की धारणा थी, ऐसे इनके पिताजी की धारणा थी. देन प्रभु जी, व्हाट हैपेंड?
And I told him I really want to go, I really want to change my life, but I didn't tell him what I did it in my exams.
प्रभु जी ने बोला अपने पिताजी को कि उन्होंने बताया कि मैं करना क्या चाहता हूँ, लेकिन उन्होंने ये नहीं बताया कि मैंने एग्जाम्स में ना गालियाँ लिख के आया हूँ मैं. Right, then?
But my mother stopped talking to me.
Oh.
Because my mother was a school teacher.
Right.
Now she's retired.
Right.
But at that time she was very strict with school teachers.
Right.
And she wanted me, as someone growing up in an Indian family.
Right.
You want the kids to achieve something, to
Yeah.
be someone big in society.
Yeah.
Doctor, engineer, or lawyer, things like this.
Correct.
And my mother, although being devotees, my parents were devotees, they wanted me to be someone in society.
Right.
So she stopped talking to me two weeks before, I was leaving.
Oh.
And then the last day, one day before taking the plane to come to Mumbai, she asked me as a mother, what do you want to bring on the plane to eat?
Oh.
And my favorite food was pizza, so I told her pizza.
So sweet. We'll just take a break here. Prabhuji, you will not trust me, but trust me. मैं पता क्या सोच रहा था? I do a talk when I'm having like दूध पे चर्चा. We keep 2 glasses of milk. That's how I do my talks. We keep samosas. I was just entering in the MVT and I was thinking, let's have a pizza pe charcha. So anyways, so we know now Madam Naidoo Prabhu's favorite dish is pizza. So any of you want to invite Prabhuji for kirtan or at home, you need to make very tasty pizzas. Coming back to the talk. So Madam Naidoo Prabhu ने हमें बताया, and as Prabhupada has said, Prabhuji, I've read somewhere, you can cheat the whole world, but you cannot cheat your mother. You cannot cheat your mother. So Prabhuji ने क्या किया? अब उनकी मम्मी क्या है, उनकी माता जी क्या कर रहे थे, उनसे बात करना छोड़ गई थी. 2 हफ्ता हो गए थे, मेरा बेटा जा रहा है, दूर जा रहा है. ठीक है, सबकी माएँ ऐसी होती हैं. तो अब 2 हफ्ते से बात नहीं हो रही है. लेकिन जैसे ही प्रभु जी फ्लाइट में बैठने लगे तो उनकी माँ भागकर आई और उन्होंने कहा कि तुम्हें जाने से पहले तुम्हें क्या चाहिए खाने के लिए. तो प्रभु जी ने बोला पिज्जा. Did she make pizza for you?
She made pizza for me.
She did.
I carried pizza on the plane.
Wow.
But what she came at the airport, but I was still a rough guy,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
a gangster, because I was hanging out with ruffians, not.
Can we know
kids.
more about this? This is so cool.
Well,
What do you mean by ruffians and like gangster? What did you do?
Ruffians, I was hanging out with Rastafarians.
What does that mean?
Rastas are like, those, guys who play reggae music with,
Oh, yeah.
with dreadlocks,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and, smoking weed and doing, all this crazy stuff.
Damn.
So I was hanging out with these kinds of people. And, so I had this, vibe of, just being a rough guy, not very polite, and not very polite with my parents also. I don't recommend anyone to be like this.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is, who I was at that time. And my mother and my parents came to drop me at the airport to bid me farewell. And my mother asked me when I was going to come back. And I said, oh, I'm never coming back. And she started crying.
Oh.
And I said, okay, maybe after 5 years I'll come back. So then I left and I came to Vrindavan.
जय ऑलराइट तो प्रभु जी ने हमें बताया कि प्रभु जी ना जब वो फ्लाइट को मतलब बोर्ड कर रहे थे तो उस टाइम उनका जो लुक था ना और जिन लोगों के साथ वो घूमते फिरते थे वो लोग ना वीड वगैरह लेते थे, बड़े बड़े लंबे लंबे बाल होते थे, मतलब बड़े मतलब वो ना रेगी जैसा, वो जो रेगी जो म्यूजिक सुनते हैं ना, ऐसे ऐसे लोगों के साथ उनका उठना बैठना था. What I'm right now thinking is, look what the holy name does, and Prabhuji is gonna, he's gonna talk it out to us. I'm just thinking, Prabhuji, it's my personal, I'm just thinking right now, like you just showed that background of yours, and now you're gonna come to Vrindavan. So now Madhav Naidoo Prabhu he's reached Vrindavan, and now he, he takes up the harmonium. He's gonna start doing his kirtan. So how the kirtan, how Harinam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, it's all gonna happen now, right, Prabhuji?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Right, so Prabhuji has boarded the flight, and now Prabhuji comes to Vrindavan. ठीक है, Vrindavan पहुंच चुके हैं. Which year is this? 1991?
This was January 1992.
January 1992. All right, perfect. So now Prabhuji has come to Vrindavan. So now you've come to a new. It was your first time in India?
First time out of
your
Mauritius.
own country.
First time on a plane.
First time on a plane. पहली फ्लाइट, पहली बार घर से बाहर निकल रहे हैं, सीधा भारत आ रहे हैं, और ब्रिज भूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय. श्रीमती राधारानी called Madhav Prabhu in 1992, right? So now what did you do? You have just heard about 24-hour kirtan, ठीक है? So we all know, आप में से जितने भी लोग यहाँ पर इस्कॉन वृंदावन आते हो, दर्शन करते हो, हमारे इस मंदिर के अंदर 24 घंटे का कीर्तन चलता है ना? ये कीर्तन किसने प्रारंभ किया? श्रील प्रभुपाद जी ने डायरेक्ट इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिए थे श्रीपाद आइंद्र प्रभु जी को, ठीक है? तो आइंद्र प्रभु जी ने ये 24 आवर्स कीर्तन स्टार्ट किया, और हमारे हिज ग्रेस माधव नायडू प्रभु जी उनके पर्सनल मृदंगा प्लेयर रह चुके हैं. ये बहुत सीनियर बातें हो रही हैं. अब आगे बढ़ते हैं और प्रभु जी से सुनते हैं. राइट प्रभु जी, सो नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस?
So before leaving Mauritius, my friend gave me a letter of recommendation for Indra Prabhu.
All right. Okay.
So I came, and the first day I stayed in the guest house, and I had just freshly shaved.
Achha.
Not even keeping a sikh. I had very long hair before.
Yeah, I know. I've seen those.
And I didn't even have a sikh. I just shaved up, because I wanted to renounce everything. So I just shaved up everything, to forget my past life.
Okay.
And I sat down, just with my pants, at the 25 kirtan there. And then one devotee passed the mridanga to me and said, "Oh, you want to play?" So then I started playing mridanga. Some devotee was singing. And then after I finished playing, after the kirtan was over, then this, white person, with red beard came and said, "Oh, you play nice mridanga, why don't you join the 25 kirtan?" And I said, "Yes, actually I came to join the 25 kirtan, and I have this recommendation letter for Indra Das." And he smiled. He said, I'm
What?
Yes. And I thought,
Oh my God.
This guy with red beard, he looks like, funky and different. I thought Indra Das was like, some Indian devotee.
Wow, this is
Because I never seen a photo, I never met him. This is the first time.
प्रभु जी, we need to stop. I need to translate this. All right. तो माधव नायडू प्रभु 1992 में वृंदावन धाम आते हैं, गेस्ट हाउस में रुकते हैं, ठीक है। उसके बाद वो अपना बाल कटवा लेते हैं, क्योंकि वो अपने पहले के जीवन में ना जो उन्होंने कुछ कांड वगैरह, जैसे हम हिंदी में बोले कांड वगैरह किए, उनको भूल जाए, ठीक है। हेड शेव कर लेते हैं। शीका भी नहीं थी उस टाइम। जाके कीर्तन में बैठ जाते हैं। किसी ने बोला कि आप थोड़ा मृदंग बजाओ ना, तो प्रभु जी ने मृदंग बजाना थोड़ा शुरू कर दिया। इतना प्यारा बजाया कि वहाँ पर एक सज्जन बैठे हुए थे। उन्होंने कहा कि आप 24 आवर कीर्तन मंडली को ज्वाइन क्यों नहीं कर लेते हो? तो प्रभु जी ने बोला कि मैं आया हूँ इस चीज़ के लिए। देखो देखो, मेरे पास रिकमेंडेशन लेटर भी है। मैं मॉरिशस से आया हूँ, वहाँ पे डिवोटी ने मेरे को रिकमेंडेशन लेटर दिया है आइंद्रा प्रभु जी के साथ ज्वाइन करने के लिए। तो वो लेटर उन्होंने किसको दिखाई? वो स्वयं, वो खुद ही आइंद्रा प्रभु जी थे। और प्रभु जी ने अभी बताया कि जब आइंद्र प्रभु ने देखा वो लेटर, तो ही सेड दैट दिस इज आई एम आइंद्र प्रभु।
Yes.
सो आइंद्र प्रभु खुद बोल रहे हैं कि अरे भाई, मैं ही आइंद्र प्रभु हूँ। और प्रभु जी बता रहे हैं, मैंने देखा यार आइंद्र प्रभु, मेरे को लगा कोई इंडियन, कोई भारतीय होंगे, है ना। इनके तो लाल लाल सी, लाइक रेड बियर्ड, लाल लाल दाढ़ी है और बड़े फंकी से लग रहे हैं। ऑलराइट, देन प्रभु जी,
And then he said, "Oh, come join the ashram." So this is how I, came into the ashram, and that's how my life started changing. Because by chanting the holy names or by serving someone who's dedicated to serving the holy names, to chanting the holy names, automatically, this energy, this spiritual energy, this Shakti rubs off on that person who's trying to serve that devotee. So this is what happened to me. But it was not just by doing kirtan. To do kirtan, one has to cultivate humility. Trinadapi Sunichena. That's so important. Nowadays, we look at kirtan leaders as being like, some rock stars. But kirtan leaders are actually not rock stars. The real rock star is the mantra.
wow,
The mantra is none different from Krishna himself. Krishna is the real star.
wow,
We are the kirtan leaders, or whoever is part of the kirtan, playing the mridanga, or leading the kirtan, playing the harmonium, playing kartals, or whatever instruments we're playing. We are serving Sri Nam Prabhu, which is none different from Krishna himself.
अब आया इस टॉक में बहुत ही एक सीरियस सा मोड़ आ गया इस टॉक में। प्रभु जी ने बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट हमें बातें बताई हैं। सबसे पहले प्रभु जी ने बताया कि आजकल के जो कीर्तनिया हैं बहुत सारे, हमें लगता है कि बहुत बड़े रॉक स्टार्स हैं, लेकिन असली रॉक स्टार तो श्री कृष्ण है। असली रॉक स्टार हरि नाम ही है, और भगवान का नाम और भगवान में कोई अंतर नहीं है। तो वास्तव में कोई भी जो कीर्तनीय है वो रॉक स्टार नहीं है। असली रॉक स्टार तो सिर्फ हरि नाम है और श्री कृष्ण ही है। और प्रभु जी ने हमें ये भी बताया कि कीर्तन में सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी, आई वॉन्ट ऑल ऑफ यू हु आर द यूथ एंड हु वॉन्ट टू बिकम कीर्तनियर्स, ये मेरे लिए भी, दिस इज ऑल्सो फॉर मी, all of us who want to be kirtaniyas or who are wanting to be kirtaniyas, I know there are thousands of you watching right now from many countries, देशों से आप देख रहे हो। माधव नायडू प्रभु, you look upon, we all look upon him, he is our inspiration. Our inspiration is telling us, if you want to be a nice kirtaniya, we all need to develop humility, Prabhuji, right?
Yes.
So without humility, विनम्रता के बिना, विनम्रता का मतलब त्रिनादपि सुनिचन, अपने आप को बिल्कुल दीनहीन मानो, दूसरों को सम्मान दो, तब जाके हम कीर्तन कर पाएंगे। राइट प्रभु जी।
My kirtan guru, Indra Prabhu, told me that Krishna doesn't need our harmonium playing or mridanga playing. Krishna needs our love, our bhakti. Wow. And that sincerity in our chanting. Because kirtan is not a performance. It's not about showing off our musical talents to impress people, to attract girls, to attract, crowds. But kirtan is about trying to attract Krishna.
Okay, प्रभु प्लीज, दिस इज मेल्टिंग माई हार्ट। प्रभु जी ने बोला कीर्तन का मतलब किसी क्राउड को अट्रैक्ट करना नहीं है, कीर्तन का मतलब किसी लड़कियों को अट्रैक्ट करना नहीं है, कीर्तन का अर्थ होता है श्री कृष्ण को अट्रैक्ट करना। और प्रभु जी ने ये भी बताया, उनके ही गुरु जो कीर्तन के गुरु हैं श्रीपाद आयेंद्र प्रभु जी, उन्होंने इनको कहा है कि कृष्णा डज नॉट नीड योर म्यूजिकल टैलेंट, राइट। कृष्ण को आपके वो म्यूजिकल या सरगम की आपकी ज़रूरत नहीं है। अगर कृष्ण को किसी चीज़ की ज़रूरत है तो उनको आपके प्रेम की, लव यू से, राइट, कृष्ण को सिर्फ आपके प्रेम की ज़रूरत है। कृष्ण भाव के भूखे हैं। माई फादर सेज दिस इज हिंदी प्रोवर्ब प्रोजेक्ट आई जस्ट लाइक टू शेयर। भाव का भूखा हूँ मैं, भाव ही बस सार है, भाव से जो मुझे भजेगा भव से बेड़ा पार है। सो ही सेज, माई फादर सेज इन हिंदी लाइक, भाव का भूखा मैं, कृष्ण इज ओनली ही इज हंग्री फॉर लव एज यू मेंशन, राइट प्रभु जी। सो can we just know a little bit more about Ayendra Prabhu's instructions about Kirtan standards, his mood, and your. So you said you entered the ashram.
Yes.
And the tapasya, what all tapasya you went through. So because the youth needs to know. आज का जो youth है, we थोड़ा सा harmonium and we okay today Prabhuji 6 to 7 my shift. Prabhuji आज मैं शाम को ना Prabhuji main slot मेरा है ना. That's what we do. We learn 3-4 melodies and then we are sitting in the kirtan and doing kirtan. Kirtaniya. We should hear from His Grace Madhava Naidoo Prabhu what all tapasya Kirtaniya should go through. Right, Prabhuji, please.
Well, one of the thing that was quite difficult for me was like one day Ayendra Prabhu came and knocked on my door.
Okay.
And said, Madhava, let's go clean the toilets.
What?
Yes. He said, Madhava, let's go clean the toilets. And I was thinking he was joking.
Right.
And, you know, I never cleaned toilets ever in my life. You know, we had servants at home. We had servants at home who would come and clean the toilets.
Right.
And I told him, no, I'm not going to come and clean toilets. And then he said, if you do this, this will clean your heart. This will make you humble. And I still said no.
Ocha.
And Ayendra Prabhu left my room. You know, as I watched through the window, he went back to his room. And he came out with a gamsha and a gallon of acid and some gloves and walked towards the toilet. And it just gave me like 1 minute to think. Here I am, 18 years old, full of ego, thinking, you know, I'm the best Mridanga player. Like I'm, you know, the main person, you know, the star. And there is this, you know, humble devotee who has such a taste for chanting the holy names. He's willing to get his hands dirty, literally dirty, so that, you know, he's cleaning his heart, but teaching others to clean their hearts so that they can actually chant the holy names. So he taught me by example, you know, how to clean my heart. And when I saw this, you know, I put on my gamsha myself, and I ran and joined him, and we cleaned toilets for like 3-4 hours, and it was one of the best experiences in my life. You know, I felt like layers and layers of dirt being cleansed from my heart.
Jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing this. Thank you so much. This is priceless knowledge. Right. Prabhuji ने बताया कि एक बार की बात है, श्रीपाद आयेंद्र प्रभु जी क्या करते हैं, इनके कमरे पे नॉक करते हैं और नॉक करके बोलते हैं कि चलो जाके बाथरूम की सफाई करेंगे। तो माधव नायडू प्रभु जी ने बोला कि मैं बाथरूम साफ करने वाला नहीं हूँ। प्रभु जी के घर में बहुत सारे नौकर थे, लॉट ऑफ पीपल सर्वेंट्स एट योर होम। तो बहुत सारे नौकर चाकर प्रभु जी के घर में थे, मॉरिशस के रहने वाले हैं, तो सफाई अपने आप हो जाती। इन्होंने आज तक बर्तन नहीं साफ करे तो बाथरूम कहाँ से साफ करेंगे। तो उन्होंने साफ मना कर दिया कि आई एम नॉट कमिंग, मैं नहीं कर रहा हूँ ये। तो आयेंद्र प्रभु जी ने कुछ नहीं बोला, वापस अपने कमरे में गए और प्रभु जी देख रहे हैं खिड़की से कि आयेंद्र प्रभु जा रहे हैं। थोड़ी देर बाद देखा वो बाहर आए, उनके हाथ में बाल्टी थी, एसिड था उसके अंदर, ठीक है, हाथ में ग्लव्स पहन रखे थे, चुपचाप चले गए और बाथरूम की सफाई करने लग गए। जब ये चीज़ माधव प्रभु ने देखी कि मैं अपने आप को रॉकस्टार समझ रहा हूँ और यहाँ पर आयेंद्र प्रभु हैं जिनका हृदय, जिनकी वाणी, जिनका मन, जिनका पूरा जीवन ही हरिनाम पे समर्पित है, वो जाके बाथरूम साफ कर रहे हैं। तो प्रभु जी बता रहे हैं कि मैं उनका आचरण देख के मैं पिघल गया। तुरंत मैं गया वहाँ पर और प्रभु जी और आयेंद्र प्रभु ने मिलकर 3 से लेकर 4 घंटे तक बाथरूम की सफाई करी। और बाथरूम की सफाई करते करते प्रभु जी ने बताया कि his heart started getting clean. उनको महसूस हो रहा था कि मेरा हृदय साफ हो रहा है, मेरा मन साफ हो रहा है, क्योंकि कितनी गंदगी, ईगो, ये अहंकार है ना, ये ईर्ष्या, ये द्वेष, इसकी सफाई करता है. तो प्रभु जी ने 3-4 घंटे लगाकर क्या करी, बाथरूम की सफाई करी, और इससे उनका चित्त, मन और हृदय भी साफ हो गया. राइट प्रभु जी.
Yes. But another instruction that really stuck with me, and that's also very important. You know, many times, you know, when I was playing Mridanga for Indra Prabhu, you know, I was, you know, young and had a lot of energy. I could play for hours, and I could play like, you know, fancy rhythms on the Mridanga.
Yes.
And I would always look at my hands, you know, playing, you know, these fancy beats, you know, how fast my fingers would go.
Yeah.
But I would never sing.
Yeah.
And Indra Prabhu, for like one whole year, after Kirtan, he would call me to his room and he would lecture me how I was not the best Mridanga player. For one whole year, for 2-3 hours every day.
Oh my God. माधवा प्रभु हमें बता रहे हैं कि जब मैं मृदंग बजाता था ना, तो मैं खुद अपनी उंगलियों को देख नहीं पाता था, इतनी तेज मेरी उंगलियां चलती थी, और मेरे को लगता था कि मैं ही सबसे अच्छा मृदंग प्लेयर हूं. लेकिन आइंदर प्रभु जी उनको अपने कमरे में बुलाते थे और 2 से लेकर 3 घंटे उनको ये समझाते थे कि भाई साहब, तुम सबसे अच्छे मृदंग प्लेयर नहीं हो. वाई सो? दिस इज जस्ट टू कीप यू हम्बल.
This was to break my ego. To
Right.
break my ego, but to also make the point that Mridanga playing is not Kirtan.
Oh.
Kirtan means to chant the holy names of the Lord.
Right.
We have to move our lips. We have to chant the mantra. Or else, you know, the Mridanga playing is 0. If we don't put a 1 before it, then that 1 is the chanting of the holy names.
Oh my God, I can relate this so much on myself because I'm always playing मृदंगा only. प्रभु जी बता रहे हैं कि ये तो सिर्फ मृदंग बजाते थे क्योंकि इनको हमेशा मृदंग प्लेयर बनना था, लेकिन आइंदर प्रभु जी ने इनको बताया कि भैया असली हरिनाम, असली कीर्तन है जब आप अपने जीवा से हरिनाम बोलो. ठीक है, मृदंग तो ठीक है, अच्छी बात है, लेकिन इट्स लाइक दैट, इट्स अ 0. लेकिन एज सून एज यू पुट दैट 1, दैट हरिनाम, जब आप कीर्तन करने लग जाते हो तो देन इट हैज अ वैल्यू. ठीक है, दैट 0 बिकम्स 10, और उस 0 के पीछे आप एक और 0 लगाओ, 1000, 1 lakh. So you have to put that 1. You have to start singing and chanting the names of Sri Krishna. That's when it becomes valuable. All right, Roji.
And then when we start chanting, the chanting cleanses the heart, it purifies the heart. And when the heart is purified, then we start getting to know Krishna.
Okay. तो कृष्ण हमें जब तक समझ नहीं आने वाले हैं जब तक हमारे मन और हमारा हृदय शुद्ध नहीं होगा. अभी हमारे मन में तो पता नहीं कहाँ कहाँ बेकार की चीज़ों का दिमाग में चलता रहता है ना. हमारा हृदय शुद्ध नहीं है, इसमें बहुत अहंकार है, द्वेष है, ईर्ष्या है, घमंड है ना. जब तक हम हरि नाम का उच्चारण नहीं करेंगे तब तक हमारा हृदय और मन शुद्ध नहीं होगा, और जब तक हृदय और मन शुद्ध नहीं होगा हम में से कोई भी कृष्ण को प्राप्त नहीं कर सकता. Right.
Nowadays, many of the youth,
Yeah.
you know, they learn a few melodies on the harmonium, they learn a few mridanga beats,
Yeah.
and they think, oh, now I'm such a great
Yeah.
kirtan leader. You know, like you mentioned also, I want the best time, the prime time, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
the main time so that people can see me. But no, this is very low actually. You know, this Krishna will not even look at us. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one of our great acharyas, he tells us that kirtan is meant only for Krishna's pleasure, not even for our own pleasure. Because when we try to give Krishna pleasure by chanting his names with bhakti, with love and devotion, with sincerity, ultimately we get much, much more happiness in the heart because we're trying to please Krishna, and Krishna knows what we're trying to do. So he gives us, we're offering Krishna with 2 hands, and when he gives us back, he's giving us back with 10 hands or 100 hands. Our heart can't hold it.
बहुत सुंदर है, मेरा हृदय, मेरा दिल पिघल रहा है. मैं सच्ची में मैं प्रभु जी की बातों में खो गया. मुझे पता भी नहीं कि मेरे को ट्रांसलेट क्या करना है, लेकिन मैं सार में ये बता दूं कि प्रभु जी ने अभी बताया है असली कीर्तन का अर्थ क्या है. असली कीर्तन तो वही है जो सिर्फ कृष्ण की प्रसन्नता के लिए किया जाए, वो कीर्तन है. दैट इज कीर्तन. दैट इज रियल कीर्तन इज मेंट फॉर कृष्णस प्लेजर, नॉट इवन आवर ओन प्लेजर. जब आप सुध बुद्ध खो जाओ कि आपके आसपास कौन बैठा है, कौन मेरे को देख रहा है, आप क्या सुर बजा रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो, और आप सिर्फ प्रेम से कृष्ण के लिए कीर्तन करते हो, तो फिर कृष्ण प्रसन्न होते हैं। और जब कृष्ण प्रसन्न होते हैं, प्रभु जी जस्ट शेयर्ड दैट वी ओनली हैव टू हैंड्स, हमारे पास सिर्फ दो ही हाथ हैं। जब कृष्ण अपनी कृपा करने लग जाते हैं तो इतनी कृपा कर देते हैं कि हम अपनी दो हाथों से कितना संभालेंगे। ये तभी होगा जब आप सिर्फ और सिर्फ कृष्ण को रिझाने के लिए, कृष्ण की प्रसन्नता के लिए कीर्तन करेंगे। ये आज के यूथ को, हम सबको जो कीर्तन कर रहे हैं, जो कीर्तन करना चाह रहे हैं, कीर्तनीय बनना चाह रहे हैं, प्लीज हम हिज ग्रेस माधव नायडू प्रभु से ये मूड को समझें, स्टैंडर्ड्स को समझें कि कितना सीरियस है कीर्तन करना, ये सिर्फ एक शो ऑफ नहीं है। राइट प्रभु जी।
But also one very important point is sadhana.
साधना।
Our sadhana. Once I asked Radhanath Swami,
राइट।
what is more important, chanting japa or doing kirtan? And he told me both are very important. Because if we chant good japa, then ultimately our kirtan is going to be good quality. And if our kirtan has good quality, good motives, good goals, bhakti is there in the kirtan, ultimately our japa will be of good quality also. So they go both hand in hand.
Right.
So I notice also with the young, with the youth, they love to do kirtan, but they don't like to chant japa, or they don't like to do seva. This is so important because, if the base is not strong, the building, the foundation is not strong, everything is going to crumble down the road.
वाओ, थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी, थैंक यू सो मच। जितने भी यूथ कीर्तन करना चाहते हैं, कीर्तनीय बनना चाहते हैं, प्रभु जी ने शेयर किया कि एक बार उन्होंने हिज होलीनेस राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज जी से एक प्रश्न पूछा। उन्होंने पूछा कि जब करना इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हरिनाम गाना, हरिनाम कीर्तन करना इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो हिज होलीनेस राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज जी ने कहा ये दोनों परस्पर इकट्ठे चलते हैं। लाइक रेलवे ट्रैक, देयर आर टू ट्रैक्स, दोनों की आपको जरूरत है। ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ आप कीर्तन करो, जप नहीं करो, इन दोनों को आपको इकट्ठा करना पड़ेगा। क्यों? जब आप श्रद्धा से साधना करते हो, हरिनाम का जप करते हो, तो आपकी कीर्तन की क्वालिटी बहुत अच्छी स्टैंडर्ड की हो जाती है। एंड व्हेन यू आर डूइंग नाइस कीर्तन, दैट मेक्स यू, दैट ब्रिंग्स योर हार्ट, इट मेक्स योर जैसे प्रभु जी ने बताया कि आपका भाव और आपका प्रेम जप करने के प्रति हरिनाम बढ़ाने लग जाता है। तो ये दोनों इकट्ठे परस्पर एक साथ चलते हैं। तो ऑल दोस कीर्तनियर्स, द यूथ हु आर लिसनिंग टू हिज ग्रेस माधव नायडू प्रभु, और जो मेरे को सुन रहे हैं, प्रभु जी ने कहा है साधना इज ऑफ टॉप मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंस। साधना के साथ साथ सेवा। लॉट ऑफ यूथ आउट देयर, वी जस्ट वांट टू डू कीर्तन, हमें कीर्तन करना है। कितनी माला करते हैं? हाउ मेनी राउंड्स डू वी चैंट? वी शुड आस्क बिफोर यू टच द हारमोनियम। दिस इज व्हाट आई एम रिलेटिंग राइट नाउ प्रभु जी। यू हैव ओपनड माय आईज राइट नाउ। आई एम क्वेश्चनिंग माय सेल्फ, हाउ मेनी राउंड्स हैव आई चैंटेड बिफोर आई टच द हारमोनियम? हैव आई कंप्लीटेड माय 16 राउंड्स? व्हाट इज योर साधना स्टैंडर्ड? दिस इज very important. What seva did you do? Did you just come in the evening at 6 o'clock? It's my kirtan time. What were you doing throughout the day? You're listening to songs, you're flirting around, इधर उधर घूम रहे हो। साधना का स्टैंडर्ड, सेवा का स्टैंडर्ड चेक करना पड़ेगा, तब जाके हरिनाम की क्वालिटी बहुत सुंदर होगी। ये हम हिज ग्रेस माधव नायडू प्रभु से सुन रहे हैं, जो संसार में इंटरनेशनली प्रभु जी लाखों भक्तों के इंस्पिरेशन है। राइट प्रभु जी।
Srila Prabhupada described the meaning of the chanting of the Maha Mantra.
Right.
And one of the meanings is, my dear Lord, please engage me in your service.
Yes.
In your seva.
Yes.
So when we're chanting the holy names, we're asking for seva.
Right.
But then if someone comes and says, Prabhuji, can you clean the temple? Prabhuji, can you clean the toilets? Then we said, no. I only do kirtan. But then what is the use?
Yeah.
We failed the test right there.
वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। श्रील प्रभुपाद जी ने हमें हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की परिभाषा दी है, डेफिनेशन। उन्होंने कहा है कि हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र का मतलब हम श्रीमती राधा रानी श्री कृष्ण से उनकी सेवा मांग रहे हैं। एंड व्हेन सेवा कम्स, और जब सेवा आती है तो हम क्या बोलते हैं? प्रभु जी, आई एम अ कीर्तनीय, आई गॉट डू माय कीर्तन सेवा। अरे सेवा आइए, आप सेवा करो ना। सो यू हैव फेल्ड द टेस्ट। उस समय हम फेल हो जाते हैं टेस्ट में, अगर हमें सेवा में रुचि नहीं है। प्रभु जी, I have right now a question that's hitting my mind again and again, and this is what people also want to know. And now, can you please start commenting your questions? Next, after this question, I'm going to be taking your question because Prabhuji does not have much time. So just comment in your questions and I'm going to ask your questions. I'm going to read out your name. People love, when their names are read.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah, that's more personal.
They'll be so blessed if you say their name. Someone may literally not die, but he'll lose it. Anyways, so comment your question. I'm going to take your question after this question. Prabhuji, my personal question is this, and I know a lot of them also want to ask. How is it possible for you to chant one melody for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours? Hare Krishna. From the past 3 days, it's 9 o'clock, 9 to 11. You will see His Grace Madhava Naidoo Prabhuji doing kirtan. No show off, guys. No show off. No lights, no camera, no action. It's just Prabhuji and his harmonium. मजा आ गया देख के. मैं बता रहा हूँ मेरा दिल ऐसे आर पार हो गया. सही बोल रहा है नहीं बोल रहा है? Even this guy was telling me, मतलब how is it possible? कोई नहीं होता, सिर्फ श्याम सुंदर सो रहे हैं, कृष्ण बलराम सो रहे हैं, गौर निताई सो रहे हैं और यहाँ पर माधव प्रभु क्या कर रहे हैं? कीर्तन गा रहे हैं घंटों तक घंटों तक घंटों तक. और ये आपका दिल बिल्कुल पिघला देता है प्रभु जी जब कीर्तन करते हैं. एंड तक जुड़े रहिएगा. मैं प्रभु जी से निवेदन करूंगा कि 2 मिनट का कीर्तन आप सबको सुनाएंगे. सो राइट प्रभु जी, आई हैव हर्ड फ्रॉम माय स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर हिज होलीनेस गोपाल कृष्ण महाराज, इट्स बिकॉज आवर टंग is it's diseased, and that's why we cannot relish the taste of holy name. But still, how is it possible? I mean, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, you just chanting one melody. Why is that possible? And what is the
Well, one of the reasons, actually the main reason was, many years ago when I was part of the 24-hour kirtan.
right?
I was part of the 24-hour kirtan for 6 years, and for 1 whole year, my seva was to do kirtan at night, what we call the graveyard shift. The graveyard shift means from 10 o'clock at night to 4:30 in the morning. Everything is quiet. Everybody sleeping, and for that 1 whole year, I was just by myself.
Which year is this, Prabhuji?
This was 1993, around that time. And, there was no one around. There was not even another person to play mridanga. Very rarely someone would show up to play little kartals because we didn't have enough manpower in the 24-hour kirtan in those times. And one devotee from Nepal, I still remember his name, Untitled Chapter. Now he lives in Australia. He showed me my first melody on the harmonium, and I knew only that melody.
Right.
And I was stuck with this melody for like 6.5 hours. So so I had to play this melody for like 6.5 hours. And
Right.
I was like young at that time, 18, 19 years old, and. Many times, I would look at the clock, in the temple room. I would look at the clock and it would be like 1 o'clock in the morning. And like 1 hour later, I would look at the clock again and it would still be like 1 o'clock. I was thinking, what's happening?
Right.
And these were the days when I was not connecting with the mantra. So time would just remain still. But then there was those days when, I would sincerely try to pray to the holy names, sincerely try to pray to Krishna. My dear Krishna, I don't have any taste for your holy names, but this is my seva, I still want to chant for you. Please help me. And those days when, I was connecting with the mantra, time would just fly by. Those 6.5 hours would fly by. And later, when I left the 24-hour kirtan, this style of kirtan became my style, which was more of a meditation.
Yeah.
Start very slowly, focus on the sound vibration, focus on the mantra, pray to the Lord, pray to the acharyas to give me the strength to chant the holy names, and then, chant one mantra at a time and invest all the feelings that I have into each mantra and not worry about time. So in that way, I could chant for 5, 6, 7 hours, like just one melody, and I would just lose track of time.
Right, Prabhuji. It's so much to tell them. Translate. All right. What was the name of that devotee? Ananda?
Ananda Chaitanya.
Ananda Chaitanya Prabhu. And the graveyard thing. Okay. Prabhu ji ने बताया हमें, and the years 1994, you said?
1993, 94.
1993, 1994 की बात है. जितने भी जो हमारे हिंदी ऑडियंस है, आप प्लीज सुन लीजिएगा. कीर्तन और प्रभु जी ने कैसे स्टार्ट किया. माधव नायडू प्रभु की जो आप कीर्तन सुनते हैं, कैसे शुरू हुए. ये ऐसे शुरू हुए कि आनंद चैतन्य प्रभु जी से एक डिवोटी थे. उन्होंने इनको एक मेलोडी सिखा दी. ठीक है. और ये रात के 10 बजे से लेकर सुबह 4:30 बजे का इनको शिफ्ट मिला कीर्तन करने का. इट्स कॉल्ड द ग्रेवयार्ड टाइम. ठीक है जी. ग्रेवयार्ड का मतलब जहाँ पर सिर्फ क्या नाम है, लाशें पड़ी होती है ना, उसको बोलते हैं ग्रेवयार्ड. तो कोई नहीं होता, सब सो रहे होते हैं. तो प्रभु जी ने 10 बजे से लेकर सुबह के 4:30 बजे तक कई 10 साल तक ऐसे ये शिफ्ट करे. तो प्रभु जी ने बताया हमें, इनको एक ही मेलोडी आती थी. ठीक है. ये भी हमारे टॉक को सुन रहे लग रहा है. दे आर आल्सो गेटिंग इंस्पायर्ड चैंटिंग. ऑलराइट, एनीवेज, राइट, हरि बोल. सो प्रभु जी ने जब स्टार्ट किया ना मेलोडी, तो चलो ठीक है, 15-20 मिनट हो गए. तो उन्होंने आंख खोली और घड़ी को देखा, 1 बज रहे हैं. आंख बंद करी, फिर वो मेलोडी गाई. 1 घंटा हो गया, फिर घड़ी देखी, फिर भी 1 बज रहे हैं. तो प्रभु जी बोल रहे हैं, यार ये टाइम आगे बढ़ क्यों नहीं रहा. फिर प्रभु जी ने ध्यान दिया, यार मेरे को एक काम करना चाहिए, मेरे को नाम में ध्यान लगाना चाहिए. आई शुड इन्वेस्ट इन द होली नेम. फिर प्रभु जी ने बोला, फिर मैंने अपना ध्यान हरि नाम में देना शुरू कर दिया. उसको पूरा फोकस होके प्रेम से, भाव से मैंने उसको गाना शुरू किया. जब मैंने ऐसा किया, ऐसे नहीं कि ऊपर से, हृदय से जब गाना शुरू करा, तब मुझे ये नहीं पता लगा कि 5 घंटे, 6 घंटे, 7 घंटे कब चले गए, मेरे को नहीं पता लगा. फिर वहाँ से प्रभु जी का एक स्टाइल बन गया कीर्तन का, कि पहले आप नाम पे उसको मेडिटेट करो, हर एक अक्षर पे, हर एक शब्द पे इन्वेस्ट करो, उसको पूरा फोकस करो. जब आप प्रेम से गाने लग जाओगे ना हरि नाम, तब आपको समय का पता नहीं लगता है. राइट प्रभु जी. वाओ. सो दैट्स वेयर दिस योर स्टाइल केम अप एंड स्टार्टेड ऑफ कीर्तन. Okay, fine. Very nice, Prabhuji. So, another question that's coming in my mind, Prabhuji, and before I go on, I'll just take one question, one or two questions from the audience over here, from the devotees. There are a lot of devotees who have put so sweet questions. Okay. This is a very nice question over here. Let me just so right now there's like Priya, Kala, Didi, and Geeta Nayak, Rupa, Ravi Sharma, and they're all glories to Madhav Prabhu, all glories to Madhav Prabhu, all glories to Madhav Naidoo. A lot of hearts clicking here and there. So much love and so much respect. Yes, we all have for Prabhuji. And someone has commented, even I have the same problem. When I start chanting Kirtan, and I think, I've been chanting for like 2 hours, but time just still remains constant. So you got the answer. Prabhuji said, you have to invest in the holy name.
Connection. We have to have the sambandha.
Sambandha.
Sambandha means connection.
Correct.
If there's no connection, there's no internet. And we can't talk to Krishna. It's like we having a conversation. Kirtan is we having a conversation with Krishna.
Right.
And Krishna's phone number. Everyone knows Krishna's phone number, right?
What's Krishna's phone number? Wow. Yes, we do know Krishna's phone number. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Right.
So whenever we want to talk to Krishna, we dial this number, but the line has to be clear.
Right.
Which means the mind has to be clear, the heart has to be clear, the senses has to be focused. We need to sit like a yogi, breathe properly, and then we have sambandha.
तो आपको अपने आंसर जरूर मिल गए हैं कि पहले एक संबंध बनाना पड़ता है, फिर जाके आपको समय पता नहीं लगेगा समय कहाँ जा रहा है. जब संबंध बन जाता है ना, और श्री कृष्ण का फ़ोन नंबर हमें सबको पता है, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र, जब आप उसको डायल करते हो, और जब आप उसको डायल करोगे, उसमें आपके पास कनेक्टिविटी होनी चाहिए, तभी तो डायल होगा. तो संबंध बनाना पड़ता है नाम से, क्योंकि नाम भगवान का और भगवान में कोई अंतर नहीं है. ऑलराइट. सो I want to chant Maha mantra subconsciously and consciously. How can I attain that?
Well, first we have to chant the mantra consciously.
Right,
You know,
right, right.
we have to train the mind, train the senses, the mouth.
Right.
We have to physically do it, and then when the mind is trained up enough, then even at night in our dreams, the chanting will still go on.
Wow, perfect. Subconsciously तो बाद में होगा, पहले consciously you have to chant with your mouth. Prabhuji is saying you have to move your lips and you got to engage your senses in the holy name. And then उसके बाद क्या होगा, आप रात को भी जब सोओगे ना, हरि नाम आपके मन में चलता रहेगा. Prabhuji, this reminds me of a small leela that my father shares, that when Krishna used to go and check Arjuna in the night, and to discuss about tomorrow's fight and to plan, when he used to see Arjuna, he used to be just like speaking Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He's sleeping, but yet he's chanting subconsciously. So sweet. Prabhuji, there's another question from Rashi Rawat. What is your most unforgettable moment? Any unforgettable moment in your life, or kirtan, or any particular kirtan, or anything that you unforgettable that you can't never forget in your life?
Well, for me, the most memorable times was doing kirtan with Ayendra Prabhu. These were like, times that I would never forget, because now, many people know me, I'm somewhat, a little famous, but Ayendra Prabhu's kirtans, this is what really made me into someone.
Wow. You miss Ayendra Prabhu. You miss his kirtans. You miss those days.
Definitely.
Wow.
So Ayendra Prabhu's kirtans.
Wow.
These are the most powerful times in my life.
माधव नायडू प्रभु के जो अनफॉरगेटेबल मोमेंट्स हैं जिंदगी के, वो है जब वो कीर्तन करते थे आयेंद्र प्रभु के साथ. प्रभु जी कहते हैं मैं पूरे जीवन में वो दिन कभी नहीं भूल पाऊंगा. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर शेयरिंग प्रभु जी. गीता सपथागिरी क्वेश्चंस, व्हेन शुड वी डू द चैंटिंग ऑफ महामंत्र? मॉर्निंग, इवनिंग, व्हिच इज द बेस्ट टाइम?
Well, the best time is always in the morning when the world is still sleeping.
Right.
We get up early in the morning, before sunrise. This is the best time for meditation, for chanting, especially chanting japa.
सबसे अच्छा समय चैंटिंग करने का है, माधव प्रभु बता रहे हैं, वो सुबह का है जब दुनिया सो रही हो और बस आप और कृष्ण हो, तब आप जप करो. सुबह का समय सबसे अच्छा है. मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. देयर आर many questions, Prabhuji. We just take maximum questions quickly. Any realizations of Krishna where you felt he is right there responding to you, right in front of you? Ever happened something like that? Any incident or something?
Definitely. It's always through the chanting of the mantra, especially through kirtan. Through japa, it happens sometimes, but it's more difficult. But through kirtan, it's the easiest way to easiest and fastest way to actually connect with Krishna and have realization that Krishna is the holy name himself.
प्रभु जी बोल रहे हैं कि बार बार हुआ है मेरे को कि मेरे को साक्षात्कार हुआ, श्री कृष्ण मेरे को देख रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, मेरे पास हैं. और ये कब हुआ है? जब भी मैं कीर्तन करने बैठता हूँ. When you start doing kirtan, you can feel Krishna. Right?
Yeah, not when you start, but
In the
process, like maybe 1 hour through the kirtan, maybe 2 hours. It depends, of how much we surrendering.
Wow. Yeah. So I and all of those who have seen Prabhuji doing kirtan, maybe not 3 days, I've particularly been noticing Prabhuji. I'm like, he's going to open his eyes now. He's going to open his eyes now. तो आंखें बंद करके प्रभु जी का एक अलग ही स्टाइल है, बैठते हैं और कीर्तन करते हैं. आप प्रभु जी को देखोगे ना कीर्तन करते, forget about listening to him. Even if you just keep on looking at him, I'm telling you, this is my own realization. If you just keep on looking at him, you just feel so enthused and energized with Krishna's mercy. And when he starts singing, it's like it's in a different world. We already all know all that. Okay. Next question, Ankit Mehta. Should we do Kirtan Seva and all other Swarup Vigra Seva at home itself with worldly duties and responsibilities, or should we shift to Vrindavan and do the same? Please suggest the best opinion in detail.
We should do, like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, do your duty. We need to do our daily duties, our responsibilities to the family or as a student. We need to do that. But also at the same time put Krishna in the center You know, do our japa, do our sadhana, do our puja, do our meditation, do, you know, some reading of Srila Prabhupada's books. You know, that has to be centered, you know, around, you know, whatever we're doing.
Right.
You know, we don't have to give up our job and just come to Vrindavan.
घर बाहर छोड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. जहाँ हो, जो कर रहे हो, जॉब कर रहे हो, बिजनेस कर रहे हो, वो करके कृष्ण को सेंटर में लाओ अपनी लाइफ में, बस हो जाएगा काम. It's getting cold over here a little bit. I'm just taking 2 more questions and then that's it, because I'm going to let Prabhuji go in. Okay, Nandini Patel, she asks, Hare Krishna, you tell us that often when like young children do devotion, they post something on social media, then we are told by saying that it is not the age you have fallen into. Please tell us, what should be, so like parents a lot of times ask the youth of India especially, like this is not your age, what are you doing? So how should the youth of India, like any youth, how should they answer to their parents when they are forced not to do bhakti and they want to do bhakti? How should they tackle this situation? कैसे किसी ने पूछा है कि मेरे माता पिता मेरे को प्रश्न पूछते हैं कि अभी ये भक्ति करने की उम्र नहीं है, तुम किन चक्करों में पड़ गए, तो कैसे हम टैकल कर सकते हैं इस सिचुएशन को? दिस इज व्हाट शी वांट्स टू नो.
Well, then we can tell our parents, you know, there's so many youths that are doing so many unwanted things, you know, like, you know, drinking, smoking, you know, doing all kinds of nonsense things. And this is something that's saving me from all these things. It's this Krishna bhakti.
Nice.
You know, so what is, and this is the highest culture of Bharat. You know, that you know, Krishna was born here in Bharat. And, you know, we keeping that tradition. So what is wrong?
वाओ. यहाँ पर एक व्यक्ति है जो मॉरिशस से है, अभी स्विट्जरलैंड में रहते हैं. ध्यान रखो, हनीमून के लिए हम सबको स्विट्जरलैंड, इंडियंस वांट टू गो टू Switzerland for honeymoon.
Yes, they make Hindi movies there.
Oh yeah?
In Switzerland.
Is Switzerland really beautiful, bro?
So beautiful.
Is
Mountains, you know, waterfalls. You know.
But not more beautiful than Radha Shyam Sundar, right? That's why Prabhuji is over here. Right. So, यहाँ पर एक व्यक्ति है जो मॉरिशस के हैं, स्विट्जरलैंड में रहते हैं, पूरी दुनिया ट्रैवल करते हैं, हरिनाम करते हुए. वो बोल रहे हैं कि हम भारतीयों को और जो यूथ है वो बता सकते हैं अपने माता पिता को, यहाँ पर साक्षात भगवान श्री कृष्ण प्रकट हुए हैं. और ये जो मेरे दोस्त वगैरह ये सब सिगरेट पीते हैं, शराब पीते हैं वगैरह, मैं वो सब तो नहीं कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है. मैं अपनी ही भारतीय की संस्कृति को क्या कर रहा हूँ, उसकी रक्षा कर रहा हूँ, उसके पालन करने का प्रयास कर रहा हूँ. तो उल्टा आपको मेरे को क्या करना चाहिए, सपोर्ट करना चाहिए. तो वी कैन से ऑल दीज थिंग्स इन अ पोलाइट मैनर टू आवर पेरेंट्स. तो वो जरूर मानेंगे. दिस इज अ नाइस क्वेश्चन. And I would request all of you if you can ask questions related to also like Kirtan, because Prabhuji is the Kirtan Samrat, and I would also want to listen to answers, related to Kirtan standards, Kirtan quality and all that stuff. So this is a Mataji is emotional. Shruti Agrawal asks, Prabhuji, how to control stress? And this is a very important question, keeps on coming again and again. How to control stress and anxiety? I am an emotional person and many times my emotion gets hurt and affected, and that would cause stress. How do I control stress and anxiety?
Well, the medicine for this age of Kali is the chanting of the holy names. It is actually medicine. It's not just some poetic or, words that, we saying that this is the medicine for this age of Kali. But when you actually put it into practice, really focusing on the sound vibration, really concentrating, really praying to the holy names, all the stress, all the anxiety that you have will go. Definitely.
Wow. प्रभु जी बोल रहे हैं ये जो हरि नाम है या जो हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र है, ये इसी की दवाई है. इट्स द मेडिसिन फॉर स्ट्रेस. तो अगर आप इसको प्रेम से जपोगे, ध्यान से जपोगे, 101% आपका स्ट्रेस जाएगा ही जाएगा. प्रभु जी, दिस रिमाइंड्स मी ऑफ एन एग्जांपल, लाइक मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स व्हेन वी आर डूइंग जपा वी फॉल asleep. So there are a lot of people out there in the world who are taking sleeping pills. They are now getting sleep, but yet when we chant japa, we go to sleep. So the mind is getting so stress-free. So sometimes that's what I've heard from like devotees. Like it's proved, it is making you so stress-free that it makes you sleepy. But nevertheless, Prabhuji ने बहुत एक important point share किया है. ये हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र, हरि नाम और संकीर्तन बीमारी, इस स्ट्रेस की दवाई है. आप इसको जितना जपोगे उससे उतना ही जितना आपका स्ट्रेस जाने लग जाएगा.
Chanting of the holy names is the solution for everything.
लो, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र जप कीर्तन, हरि नाम महामंत्र जप करना हर चीज का सोल्यूशन है. प्रभु जी बता रहे हैं हाउ टू कंट्रोल एंगर.
It's the same thing.
Same.
It's the same
Right.
thing. You chant the holy names, you'll see that your mind will become more peaceful. Your anger will diminish.
Yeah.
You just need to try it and try it with the proper attitude.
ठीक है Prabhuji. There are more than 50 comments I've read. Can we just hear Prabhuji do some kirtan?
Sure, we can do a few minutes kirtan.
Right. So yes, we can do a few minutes of kirtan, and I'm gonna end this live session. Last two questions. Just scrolling down. Whoever gets lucky, and then we're gonna have some nice, beautiful kirtan by the one and only His Grace Madhava Naidoo Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us your time.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. I'm out of words. All right. I feel sleepy a lot of times when I'm doing chanting, and I cannot complete my fixed rounds. What should I do?
Sure, then you should get up and walk.
Walk and chant. Right.
Go somewhere where there's like fresh air.
Yeah.
Where we have to be practical. It's like, we know our nature. Okay, if we sit down for too long, we fall asleep. Then we stand up, we take a little walk, we take some fresh air, go take a walk in the forest or in nature, and then we chant our japa.
Prabhu, any incident like in Mauritius or in Switzerland when you're traveling, and maybe you have to change your attire. Look at Madhava Naidoo Prabhu. यार मैं चाहता हूँ कि एक दिन at least मैं प्रभु जी जैसा बनूँ. मेरे को भी वो बड़ी सी कंठियों वाला चाहिए. और मतलब क्या लगते हैं प्रभु जी अभी ना. बहुत lot of hearts. I can see those hearts right now. Lot of hearts clicking. Anyways, right. प्रभु जी को नजर नहीं लगनी चाहिए. Like sometimes you have to wear shorts or some sandal, because I saw one video of yours that you were going in a bus, or I don't know where it was, and you all are sitting in the bus and you're doing kirtan. So I mean the mood outside is totally different.
Yes.
And we were also discussing it's not about the dress or about the attire, it's about the mood. Can you just speak something about that also, because we are like the third generation, the fourth generation right now who are trying to do bhakti.
Sure.
तो मैं प्रभु जी से ये जानना चाह रहा हूँ कि कपड़े क्या इतने ज़रूरी हैं क्या, क्योंकि कभी कभी मैं भी जैकेट्स पहन लेता हूँ, मैं भी अभी जैसे बंडी कुर्ता पहन रहा हूँ, तो क्या कपड़े इतने ज़रूरी हैं कि या हमारा, इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा प्रभु जी हम सबको बताएं.
Well, dress is also important.
Right.
There's one saying that says, first dress and then address.
Right.
First dress and then address.
Right.
So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, a great acharya, Srila Prabhupada's guru, he tells us that dress better than the normal people.
Oh, yeah.
Dress better than these people so that you can attract them and then you can tell them about Krishna.
Wow. Amazing. What happened? इसके बाद कीर्तन. Okay, yeah. So Prabhuji just quoted Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ji, that he said that you dress better than the normal people so that you can attract them. आप बहुत अच्छे से dress करो. जैसे हमारे भक्त हैं, कभी-कभी हम बहुत ज़्यादा simple हो जाते हैं. आप अपने आप को बहुत अच्छे से dress करो, better than the normal people, ताकि आप उनको attract करो अपने लिए नहीं, कृष्ण के लिए. Right.
Yes, but then also it's very tricky.
Yeah.
Because when we dress nicely, then we start thinking of the body. But
Yeah.
at the same time, we should think that we're using this dress, this style, to attract people as a service, not to attract people to us, but it's a savor to bring them to Krishna.
Right. तो ये बहुत ही ट्रिकी है, इतना आसान नहीं है, क्योंकि जब आप अपने आप को बहुत तरीके से सजाते हो ना और संवारते हो, तो उस टाइम मन क्या करता है कि यार तू बड़ा स्मार्ट लग रहा है, बड़ा स्टाइलिश लग रहा है, लेकिन आपको अगर ड्रेस करना है अपने आप को, है ना, स्टाइल में भी, तो आपको ये ध्यान में रखना है कि ये सिर्फ सेवा के लिए, कृष्ण की प्रसन्नता के लिए है.
Yeah,
Right.
like myself, I have all these earrings, tattoos. This is my style, and people, when they look at me, they see, oh, this guy is different. Then they start asking me, oh, what are those tattoos? What does it mean? Because they're all mantras.
Wow.
Everywhere there's Krishna, there's mantras, and these are people who don't know about anything. And then I tell them, okay, I sing mantras. I explain to them what is mantra, and just by that, because I'm different, they get attracted to that, and I get to tell them about Krishna.
क्या पॉइंट बताया प्रभु जी ने बताया कि मेरे पूरे शरीर पे टैटूज लगे हुए हैं, लेकिन ये टैटूज किसी फिल्म स्टार वगैरह के नहीं, इसमें मंत्र लिखे हुए हैं। तो जब ये बाहर ट्रैवल कर रहे होते हैं ना, कुछ लोग इनसे पूछते हैं ये क्या है, इस पे क्या लिखा हुआ है, तो वो मंत्र लिखे होते हैं। ठीक है, प्रभु जी ने बोला कि उन्होंने इतनी मोटी कंठी माला पहनी हुई है ना, ईयरिंग्स वगैरह जैसे भी है, ये प्रभु जी का अपना एक स्टाइल है। लेकिन what we need to remember and what we need to focus on is, प्रभु जी कह रहे हैं कि मैं इन सब चीज़ों को यूज़ करता हूँ प्रचार में। लोग मुझसे पूछते हैं कि ये मंत्र क्या है, तो मुझे एक मौका मिल जाता है प्रीच करने के लिए, एंड देन आई स्टार्ट प्रीचिंग, एंड दैट्स हाउ preaching starts. This is really nice, Prabhuji, really inspiring, especially for the youth, you know. But it's not so easy. It's not so easy.
No, it's not. It's very tricky.
Yeah, it's very tricky.
Because we can get into the body.
Yeah.
You know, that's not good.
Yeah, तो मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि प्रभु जी रेकमेंड कर रहे हैं हम सबको ऐसा करने के लिए, बिकॉज इट्स प्रभु जी इज बीन इन द मूवमेंट, वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा सीनियर है, उनका साधना का लेवल हमसे बहुत ज़्यादा आगे है, सो इट्स नॉट दैट इजी। तो आप पहले तो हमें साधना सेवा पे
I stayed in a temple. I was brahmachari. I dressed very simple.
Yeah.
Also, but this was late, much later. You know, when I left the ashram, when I got married, that's when these styles started coming.
हाँ, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आप जाके टैटू वैटू लगा लो है जी हो गया। नो, फर्स्ट गो थ्रू इट, गो थ्रू द ड्रिल, बर्न एंड तपस्या करो आप सब, उसके बाद तब जाके जब बिल्कुल पक्के हो जाओगे ना, तब वो अपने आप ही हो जाएगा। राइट, ऑलराइट Prabhuji, so we'll just stop over here, otherwise these questions are unlimited. We just request you to do some kirtan.
Sure, we'll do in a few minutes kirtan.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. Right, thank you so much once again, Prabhuji. Please accept my obeisances. And all those who want to connect to Prabhuji, who want to personally connect to Prabhuji, please if you can just focus the camera over here for 1 second. थोड़ा यहाँ पर लिया कैमरे को। All of those जो भी प्रभु जी के साथ जुड़ना चाहते हैं, प्रभु जी is very active on Instagram. You have a Facebook page, Prabhu ji, too?
Yeah, Facebook page also. It's
Yes.
Madhava Naidoo.
या माधवा नायडू, आप फेसबुक पेज पे, इंस्टाग्राम पे आप अभी सर्च करो, अभी तुरंत रिक्वेस्ट भेजो। प्रभु जी बहुत एक्टिव है और प्रभु जी स्टोरीज भी शेयर करते हैं। व्हाट आई वांट यू टू डू इज, एक माइंड में आइडिया आया, टेक अ स्नैपशॉट ऑफ दिस वंडरफुल टॉक राइट नाउ, और you take a screenshot or a video screenshot and then tag Prabhuji. Forget about me. You tag Prabhuji on Madhava Naidoo Prabhu Instagram पेज पे और Facebook पेज पे टैग करो। प्रभु जी आपकी स्टोरी शेयर करेंगे तो भाई साहब हो गया काम। राइट प्रभु जी, so we request you for some kirtan. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Very.
So I'm going to chant the same melody that I've been singing every night this Kartik.
Yeah.
Till now, I've been singing this melody every day for 2 hours.
Jai.
I haven't changed the melody.
Yes.
This is
Thank
like
you.
a meditation, but we'll do a short one,
Yeah.
just a few minutes. Mao Vishpadaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Vasityade Satani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gaura Nitai ki jai. Ancha Kripa Sindhu Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Ananta Koti Vaishnava
Bhakta Vrinda ki
Prabhupada ki jai.
jai jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Words fall short to thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for melting our hearts away. Thank you for your service. And the youth who is listening to your wonderful talk, to your wonderful kirtan. I'm out of words right now. प्रभु जी मेरे को अभी पता नहीं है कि मैं कैसे प्रभु जी का धन्यवाद करूं. आप सब से निवेदन है, आप भी हाथ जोड़ लीजिएगा और प्रभु जी को अपनी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त कीजिएगा. Tap those hearts. And ये जो अभी आपने कीर्तन सुना, इस कीर्तन के चाहने वाले तड़पते हैं. खासकर जो इस्कॉन में है ना, हम तड़पते हैं प्रभु जी का कीर्तन सुनने के लिए. आज प्रभु जी ने हम सभी को अपना इतना समय दिया है. लिटरली वी कैन नॉट thank you enough, Prabhuji. I do not know how to express my gratitude towards you. Thank you for your time. Thanks to all of you for watching, and I'm pretty sure you all feel inspired and motivated to go out there and become powerful Kirtaniyas in Srila Prabhupada's army, in Srila Prabhupada's movement. This is His Grace, Madhav Naidoo Prabhu, who we all look upon for Kirtan, my inspiration, and this is from where I get motivation. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your wonderful service,
Hari Hari.
inspiring so many thousands of people. Thank
Jai,
you.
Jai.
All glory to Prabhupada.
Jai.
And thank you all for being there and watching and being part of it. Hare Krishna.
Madhav Naidoo Prabhu, one more time, a bit louder. प्रभु जी ने जब बीच में ऐसे बोला ना तो मेरे तो रोंगटे खड़े हो गए. So one more time, a bit louder. Madhav Naidoo Prabhu, Instagram and Facebook page. Let's see you there. Radhe Radhe Shyam.
Hare Krishna.
Sundar ki jai. Govind Krishna Das GKD. Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you.